Hello there you guys, welcome to another one of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current latest news. Don't forget on this channel tomorrow the Tottenham Manchester United preview will be coming tomorrow. It will be tomorrow morning sometime. I will be doing the Tottenham Manchester United preview. But anyway, we'll get into some more latest news about the transfer rumours that are going on in the media. I've just been reading a few more. I've just currently had my tea, but just been reading a couple of more transfer rumours up, as I currently said. So, bit of Arsenal transfer news, to update you now, as I have been updating you on a regular basis, as we all know. Azum Remre has come out in the media today. He's obviously convinced he wants one or two signings in this January window. Yeah, the two key areas he does want to strengthen up is the wing position, and he wants a strong centre half as well. Does Remre, and we know, there have been linked with quite a few targets of Arsenal, because I could see, a few players leave. As I said, obviously Aaron Ramsey's going to be leaving in the summer on a free transfer. Obviously that was confirmed yesterday night, as we all know. And as I did say, they have got injuries as well. But it's going to be leaving them as well. As I did say, Ozil's future is still uncertain because he's in and out of the team, as we more quickly know in the process. But as I did say to you guys today, Umre has come out in the press saying that Arsenal can only afford loan deals. So reportedly, he has ruled out Arsenal making any permanent signings in this January window, and he says Arsenal only can make loan signings in this January window because he said Arsenal can only afford loan signings this January window. January window according to Umre, and he has ruled out making a permanent move for Denis Suarez as well, because potentially, as I did say to you, Arsenal wasn't getting the right funds under Arsene Wenger. So far they haven't been getting the right amount of funds, under Umre, and obviously they haven't been getting the right amount of money, to spend and invest into their squad. That's probably why they haven't been competing, for titles, for such a long time, because they haven't been getting the right amount of money, as we all currently know in the process. But I think he's keen on getting some loan signings in this January window, because obviously Arsenal are aware they want to get in the Champions League for next season, so they want to get top four this season, invest more money into the club, and attract players' interest, as I currently said. But yeah, obviously one of their main priority targets, as we all know, is Barcelona's Denis Suarez. Now, latest news on that, the Spanish publication have reported that reportedly Denis Suarez has agreed personal terms with Arsenal, reportedly. So the Spanish publication have reportedly said that personal terms have been agreed. I don't think any initial fee has been agreed, but Arsenal have obviously been in talks with the players' representatives about getting a 20 million deal over the line. Reportedly, Umre says Arsenal can't afford to permanently sign anybody or Denis Suarez in this January window. So obviously Arsenal are closing in on a loan deal for Denis Suarez, as we all know. Obviously, the latest news was coming out of the media yesterday suggesting that the Barcelona president got involved. The Barcelona president reportedly has been in negotiations with Arsenal over this, and reportedly the Barcelona president has promised Denis Suarez a move to Arsenal in this January transfer window. But Arsenal want to get him on a loan deal, and I think Barcelona are willing to go along with this as long as, obviously there's a clause included to make the deal permanent in the summer, as we all currently know, because Barcelona are actually looking to cash in on the play because he hasn't been a first team regular, as we all know. But obviously Arsenal are going to see him as a replacement for Aaron Ramsey, and obviously, Arsenal are going to have to think about where his favourite position would be in the team, how he would fit in the team, of course, because he is versatile as this Denis Suarez, because he can play in the middle, he can play on the left, he can play on the right. So obviously Arsenal are going to have to think about where they're going to put him, but you can play him centrally, but you play him on the left and the right. And obviously if Denis Suarez does, go to Arsenal, obviously, he's going to be competing with Mkhitaryan and Iwobi, for a starting position, in their lineup, because Mkhitaryan, I think, is injured at the moment. Iwobi hasn't done that well for Arsenal, so potentially, as Umre said, he wants a winger and he wants a strong centre half. As I said, Denis Suarez's current contract ends with Barcelona in 2020, as we all know, and he's made it clear, Denis Suarez, he wants to make the move from Barcelona, and he wants to play on Umre because he's keen on reuniting with Umre after they worked together at Sevilla, as we are more currently known. I think that season on his loan, he was on loan with Sevilla. That season he won the Europa League with Umre when he was a lot young. He's 25 now, so he's nearly in his mid-20s. So he has still got a lot of years ahead of him to grow and develop. And do you think he'll grow and develop under Umre? But as I said, in his youth career, he actually played for Manchester City. He's played for Celta reserve team, Barcelona reserve team. I think he's played for the Barcelona reserve team. As Denis Suarez, he's obviously played for Villarreal, as we all know, and he is 25 years of age. Is this Denis Suarez? But he's keen on reuniting with Umre, as we all know. But as I did say, he does want to make the move, does Denis Suarez. He has made this clear, as I said, and reportedly the Barcelona president has confirmed, has promised him a move to Arsenal this month. So the Barcelona president has promised him a move to Arsenal in this currently January transfer window. But Arsenal obviously want to get him on a loan deal, see how he progresses and stuff like that, and see if he hits the ground running or not. And then obviously Arsenal will make a decision if they want to sign him on a permanently in the summer, of course. And as I did say, at one point, you know, Barcelona were playing hardball of this because, you know, it come out, was it quite a few weeks ago, was it last week or something like that Barcelona were playing hardball, saying they weren't willing to, you know, sell Denis Suarez in this January transfer window. As I said, but reportedly now, you know, they have softened the stance on the situations. But, you know, it'd be interesting to see, you know, how he develops in the Arsenal team, this Denis Suarez, because he's obviously had experience of playing with Umremre. Obviously, Umremre knows him. As I said, I don't really know much about him. Reportedly, he was very, very good when he was a lot younger in his prime before he went to Barcelona, reportedly. But we know Arsenal have been heavily linked to him. I think it would cost Arsenal in the fee of around 14, 15 million to get him anywhere. But Arsenal want to get him on a loan deal, you know, to see how he probably progresses. Because obviously, according to Umremre, they can't afford, they can only afford loan signings anywhere, can Arsenal. And he's ruled making a permanent move out for Denis Suarez, and he's ruled out that Arsenal are going to make any permanent signings, so he just wants loan signings, does Umremre, as he has confirmed in the process. But as the news has been coming out, you know, obviously Aaron Ramsey's leaving Arsenal, as we all know. He's going to be joining Juventus on a free in the summer. It's a 5-year deal with £36 million, as we all know. I think salary's around £140,000 a week or something like that, so he's going to be the second highest paid player with Juventus, just behind Cristiano Ronaldo, as we all know. So it's 5-year deal with 36 million, £140,000 a week. That adds up to about 7.2 million a season, as we all know. But it would be good, you know, new era for him, as we all know. Obviously, Juventus has won the past 7 Serie A titles, as we all currently know. I think they've become runners-up, you know, the most times in the Champions League as well of Juventus. It would be good, you know, new era for him. You know, Juventus have got to think about, you know, where will he fit in the Juventus team. Aaron Ramsey, will he develop himself very, very well? Because to be quite fair, he's done very, very well for Arsenal. He's been a very, very good servant for Arsenal. I think Umremre's got a lot of respect for him. I think, you know, he's had a good standing ovation, you know, from everyone who's linked with Arsenal, including the fans, you know, Umremre and, you know, everybody, you know, who's linked with Arsenal. He got a great standing ovation because he has delivered a lot to the club, you know, for the 10 years, you know, he has been with Arsenal, to be quite honest with you, and he's grown and developed very, very well. You know, will Arsenal miss him? Because he's a very, very good box-to-box midfielder, as we all currently know. There was a few teams, you know, that actually were interested in Aaron Ramsey, but it's obviously, from his own perspective, Aaron Ramsey, Juventus was his preferred choice, as he did confirm. And obviously, Juventus were the favourites to get Aaron Ramsey, as we all know. He did confirm Umremre didn't want him to leave in this January transfer window anywhere. So if he can potentially get Denis Suarez, you know, he'll be playing, you know, alongside Aaron Ramsey and all that. That's what basically Umremre is planning to do. So Aaron Ramsey's not going to be leaving this January window. He's going to be seeing out his contract, and when his contract expires in the summer, he is going to be going to Juventus on a free transfer. He's going to be having his medical on Sunday, as he has confirmed. But as I said, he's had a great 10 years with Arsenal. He's won 3 FA Cups, scored he scored in 2 of the finals, as we all know. Made over 300 appearances in all competitions for Arsenal. I think he made over 200 odd appearances in the league. Scored 60 odd goals in all competitions. Scored about 52 in the Premier League for Arsenal as well. So he has grown and developed, and he has been a crucial player, you know, for Arsenal over the years. And I think he's flourished, you know, fantastically well. But do you think when he goes to Juventus, do you think he'll flourish, you know, at Juventus as well? Because he has done superbly well for Arsenal, to be quite fair. He actually began his career, you know, at Cardiff City. Did Aaron Ramsey, you know, he began his career with Cardiff City, risen up the ranks for them. Youngest first team player, you know, youngest first team player ever there, as we all know. I think he was up the ranks with Cardiff for like 8 years or something like that. Did Aaron Ramsey, as we all know. And Arsenal paid £5 million for him. He's been there 10 years, and he has been a very, very good servant indeed. You know, with Wenger, he's been a very, very, especially when he had obviously Wenger for 22 years. You know, very, very good servant. You know, under Arsene Wenger, some of his performances, have been fantastic, as we all know. And probably a lot of, everyone who's linked with Arsenal, a lot of Arsenal fans were missing. But it did come out, it was going to happen anyway, but it did come out saying potentially that he had signed a pre-contract agreement deal, with Juventus. So it is a 5-year deal. It's worth 36 million. It's £140,000 a week. He was only receiving £110,000 a week at Arsenal. But Juventus are willing to offer him £140,000 a week, so he will be the second highest paid player. Behind Cristiano Ronaldo. And I think Aaron Ramsey's looking forward to it. This is why he demanded now that he wanted to make the move to Juventus as well. So yeah, other piece of news to update you with as well is this Yannick Carrasco. We know he's been another potential Arsenal target as Yannick Carrasco. Arsenal, of course, have been heavily linked with this Yannick Carrasco. I said he's Belgium. He's 25 years of age. Recent reports have been stemming from the media that reportedly Arsenal have held a meeting. I think they've held a meeting with currently Yannick Carrasco's agent, reportedly, and Arsenal have been heavily linked to him, as we all know. And from Yannick Carrasco's perspective, he does want to make the move to Arsenal, but as I did say, I think he's willing to accept a cut price deal, is this player, because obviously he's on 8.8 million salary a year in China. That his salary is around £170,000 a week, and obviously Arsenal cannot match this, so they'll have to get him in a cut deal. And I think the player is willing to accept a cut price deal, to be quite honest, because he wants to come and play in Europe. There's a player, as I said, he's 25 years of age. He is Belgium. Reportedly, he's supposed to be quite good. He can score goals, he can provide assists. He is a winger, as I said. But Arsenal have been in negotiations. Arsenal have actually, been heavily linked with the player. It did say Man United and AC Milan were interested in him, but he prefers to move to Arsenal, reportedly. So reportedly, he has been offered to Arsenal, is this Yannick Carrasco. As I said, he's 25 years of age. He's Belgium, is this player as well. Obviously, he plays for the team called Denis Yifang. He's in China now. He's been in the Chinese Super League now for nearly a year. As the player, I think he scored 7 goals this season. He had 2.5 years with Atletico Madrid as well, didn't he? 2.5 years with Atletico Madrid, scored in the Champions League final, and he actually began his senior career with Monaco as well. Did the player? I think he scored 20 goals in like 105 professional games. When he was a lot younger in his prime, he began his youth career with Genk as well. Did the play? I think this Chinese club paid around £27 million for him from Atletico Madrid. To be quite honest with you, I think he has. Has he got a contract? Is he under contract now until 2021? This Yannick Carrasco as well. But yeah, he's willing to take a cut price deal, as I said. But we know Arsenal have obviously been heavily linked to him, so that's been another potential Arsenal target. They've been linked with. We know potentially, Umreme has ruled a couple of transfers out. He's ruled Arsenal making. He said regarding Harry Cahill, he's not one of Arsenal's transfer targets. He said, well, reports were coming out a couple of weeks ago, was it a week or so ago, about Keylor Navas. The Spanish press reportedly said Arsenal had put around a £40 million bid in for Keylor Navas, because reportedly he's out of favour with Real Madrid, since obviously Real Madrid got the signing of Courtois last summer. Keylor Navas has been out of favour. As I said, then Arsenal have obviously got Petr Cech, coming to end, the end of his career soon, as we all know. But reportedly, had basically he's ruled the move out, for Keylor Navas. He denied that Arsenal had actually, made a bid for the player. There's still, coming out about this Ever Banega, because Ever Banega's also been a potential Arsenal target, as we all know. I've heard about this in the last couple of weeks, about Ever Banega. It's looking likely they're not going to get him anywhere, because I think it's confirmed from the player's perspective he doesn't want to leave Sevilla midway through the season. Well, obviously, Ever Banega's, well, I think is he attacking midfield? He's 30 years of age. He's Ever Banega, or something like that. This Ever Banega, I think he's Argentinian, is the player, to be quite honest with you. He does play for Sevilla, and Umreme has obviously worked with him in the past as well, at Sevilla and at Valencia, when the actual player, was actually young in his prime. And reportedly, Ever Banega's representatives had reportedly been in London, was it the other week, to negotiate a deal. Reportedly, Ever Banega has around an 18 million release clause in his current deal. As I said, he's Argentinian. He actually began his career with Boca Juniors. I think he had loan spells, with Newell's Old Boys and Atletico Madrid. I think he played 162 games for Valencia when he was young in his prime, and that's obviously when Umreme was managing. So he does know Umreme well. Umreme knows him well, as we all know. But at this moment now, he's this is his second spell with Sevilla because he obviously had the season with Inter Milan, but he's won two Europa Leagues with Sevilla as the player, as we all currently know. But as I said, Arsenal have been obviously linked with him as well, but it's obviously Arsenal looking like they've missed out on him because he's reluctant to leave midway through the season. Is this ever been Benega? So he's been a potential Arsenal target, as we all know. But as I said, yeah, Arsenal do need to address their squad, as we all know. They do need reinvestments, as they all know. But as I did say, they've got a great fan base, just like my club, Manchester United, have got a great fan base. Arsenal have got 60,000 supporters, we've got 76,000 supporters, as I said. And I think, my club, we're looking very, very good and sharp under Solskjaer now, but we need signings. Arsenal need signings. I think Chelsea need signings as well, because as I did say, players are going to leave Chelsea as well. But as I said, more things will update. So saying Denis Suarez has reportedly agreed personal terms with Arsenal because negotiations have been going on. As I said, the Barcelona president has reportedly been in discussions, with Arsenal and promised Denis Suarez he can... what's going on here? And promised Denis Suarez that he can leave Barcelona this month and make the move to Arsenal. Obviously, at one point, Barcelona were playing hardball, as we all know, but now they seem to have stopped in the stands. But Umreme has confirmed that Arsenal can only afford loan signings in this January window, so they won't be making any permanent signings in this January window because reportedly they can't afford to do that as well. So yeah, that's potentially, Arsenal's transfer news to update you with. As I give you an update earlier on, I give you a bit of Chelsea's transfer rumours as well, didn't I, of what we're going on with them, because as I did say, Sarri, wants to invest into his squad, as we all know, because potentially, as I did say to you, Chelsea could see, quite a few of their players leave, as we all know. As I did say, Morata's looking out of favour. Eden Hazard future is still uncertain, as we all know. Also too, Fabregas is going to be leaving, but obviously the transfer's on hold at the moment, obviously until Sarri finds a replacement. Callum Hudson's linked with a move to Bayern Munich, so potentially, he's linked with quite a few players, he's Sarri, because he wants to bolster his squad up, as we all know. He did get Jorginho 57 million last summer. He did get Kepa for 72 million pounds in goal last summer as well. That was actually a world record fee, wasn't it, as we all know. But as I did say to you earlier on, reports have been coming out of the media today. Well, reportedly, the Spanish publication had reported on it yesterday that reportedly Gonzalo Higuain is potentially Chelsea's main priority target. Reportedly, Gonzalo Higuain had agreed personal terms with Chelsea, reportedly according to the Spanish publication yesterday. But reportedly, the Chelsea director wasn't keen on actually getting the player in because he has reservations about probably getting, players that are in the 30s. And, probably he has reservations of Chelsea paying a fee of around £36 million for the player in his 30s. He is a proven goal scorer. I think he'd lead the lines very, very well for Chelsea. And I think, he'd be a very, very good signing. But the Chelsea board and the Chelsea director has reservations about this. Sarri does definitely, wants Gonzalo Higuain, as we all know. Chelsea, he's obviously on loan at AC Milan. Chelsea have had discussions with Juventus and AC Milan over this. The narrative started around this narrative started around a month ago when I first updated you on it. There were talks at the first of Morata and Higuain as a potential swap deal because we know AC Milan have been linked to Morata. Chelsea looking to get him out on loan anywhere, sanction him out on loan. AC Milan have been linked to him, Sevilla, and now the latest team, Atletico Madrid, as we all currently know. But recent reports have been coming out today. More discussions have been happening further down the line today because reportedly, currently Higuain's agent and his current brother has reportedly been in London today to have negotiations with Chelsea and Sarri. Chelsea, potentially making a move for the player, because I think potentially Gonzalo Higuain does definitely, want to make the move to the Premier League and play for Chelsea, because I think, Gonzalo Higuain has confirmed this. As I did say, Chelsea, I think, are in talks, to get him on loan and then maybe, obviously, make the deal permanent in the summer, which would cost in the region of around £30 million. But as I did say, the Chelsea director, has got reservations about this. So reportedly, he had blocked the move, the current Chelsea director and the Chelsea board, as we all know. But yeah, it's Chelsea's number one target. They've got maybe a few alternatives, if they do fail with the Gonzalo Higuain deal. But there were reports coming out yesterday the deal could have been finalised yesterday, but it wasn't. You know, there's been more talks in the process today going on. His agent and his brother's been in London, you know, to negotiate about him potentially making a move to Chelsea, because Gonzalo Higuain wants to leave AC Milan, as we all know. But I think he'd be a very, very good player for Chelsea. He is aged now 31. That's what's probably concerning the Chelsea director, because he is aging up. You know, probably even if he did get signed for Chelsea, he probably wouldn't get a long contract, because as I did say, Chelsea have got a good transfer policy, but they've got a strict policy. If they get players like in the 30s and they're out of the prime, you know, they don't seem to give them no longer than a 12-month contract, and that's obviously, you know, being confirmed there from Chelsea's perspective. But I think he'd do a very, very good, you know, good job, you know, with Gonzalo Higuain. As we all know, he's a proven prolific goal scorer. He's proven it throughout his playing career. He's grown and developed, and he has flourished, you know, everywhere he's been. As we all know, you know, obviously he had 6 good years with Juventus when Real Madrid, when he was a lot younger in his prime. He had 3 good years with Napoli. He broke the Serie A record. He scored 36 goals in one season, you know, for Napoli as well. And potentially, you know, he had 2 good years with Juventus as well. I think he won the domestic double. You know, in his first 2 seasons, you know, with Juventus as well. Juventus paid, what, £75 million for him, or something like that. That is expensive, you know. Juventus paid £75 million for him. The most expensive South American of all time, you know, until the Neymar transfer in 2017, as I currently said. And obviously, his transfer fees were the highest paid by an Italian club until Ronaldo joined Juventus last summer, as I currently said. But yeah, Xavi, he wants to get that. He wants to reunite with Gonzalo Higuain, because obviously he's worked with Gonzalo Higuain in the past, and he knows about Italy. Does Xavi? He knows the Italian football. He knows quite a lot of the Italian players, because he used to manage in Italy as well. Did Xavi? But yeah, Gonzalo Higuain is their main priority target, as I said. But more talks that further down the line have been going on today. With Alvaro Morata, as I said, it's looking like Morata is going to be going out on loan, as we all know. The press are reporting the latest team to be interested in Morata is reportedly Atletico Madrid. Reportedly there's been negotiations going on. As it did confirm in the press, was it yesterday, something like that Sevilla have been in negotiations. Morata's agent had been in discussions with the Sevilla representatives about getting an initial loan deal over the line, because Chelsea want to sanction Morata out on loan, reportedly in this January transfer window. There were talks saying Sevilla were willing to offer him a £5 million fee for the loan, and then make the deal permanent in the summer by paying like an extra £35 million or something like that. But as I did say, and it said AC Milan have also been interested, but as I did say, you know, but the Sevilla director confirmed it may, you know, the Morata move, you know, may be very, very complicated. So maybe Sevilla, you know, may find it difficult, you know, to come to an agreement with Chelsea, you know, to sanction Alvaro Morata off, as the directors admitted. But Sevilla are definitely interesting. But he hasn't lived up to expectations at Chelsea, you know, since he's been at Chelsea, to be quite fair. You know, Chelsea expected a lot more from him, you know, considering he did very, very well, you know, when he was young in his prime. Alvaro Morata, you know, he spent most of his playing career, you know, with Real Madrid, did Alvaro Morata, and he did very, very well. I thought he had a good 2-year tenure, you know, during his 2 years with Juventus as well, did Alvaro Morata. But to be quite fair, he's been disappointing, you know, since he's come to the Premier League. You know, he played at the highest level, you know, when he was young in his prime with Real Madrid. He flourished very, very well and grew and developed with Real Madrid. He did very, very well in his 2 years with Juventus, but he just hasn't sparked, and he hasn't established himself that well, you know, since he's come to Chelsea. Chelsea paid £60 million for him, as we all currently know. But I thought he had a good start, you know, when he came to Chelsea. He was scoring goals. He was leading the lines, but as I said, especially since Xavi's been recommended in, he has been, you know, failing to, you know, he hasn't been on fire. And obviously, he hasn't been first choice. And obviously, he's no longer under Xavi's plans. He's falling down the pecking order as, you know, Alvaro Morata, as we all know. Recently, obviously, in the Premier League, he has been playing Eden Hazard up front in a false number 9 position, as we all know. So Morata is no longer a guaranteed starter. So potentially, this could see Alvaro Morata leave, as we all know. So yeah, there's been a lot of talks about that going on. You know, obviously, reportedly, according to the media, if they're fair with Gonzalo Higuain, they're going to put around £50 million in for Callum Wilson, the Bournemouth striker, as we all know. I said he's young. He's quite young, he's Callum Wilson. He's, 25, 26. Reportedly, his performances for Bournemouth have been very, very good. But as I said, Eddie Howe is obviously going to be reluctant to sell him. Eddie Howe's obviously not going to be willing to do any business for, you know, Callum Wilson. So Callum Wilson will be staying at Bournemouth anywhere. You know, there's been a lot of talk, you know, about Icardi, you know, in the press, as we all know. Essentially, he's been a Chelsea target. Reportedly, Chelsea have been also interested in Icardi as well. Reportedly, he's got around a 99 or is it 100 million release clause, and he's a prolific goal scorer. He's a good, efficient finisher as well, and he's good in the attacking third of the pitch because he has proven himself fantastically well with Inter Milan, and he has been at Inter Milan since 2013. But maybe, maybe the Chelsea director or board would prefer Icardi because he's a prolific goal scorer like Gonzalo Higuain. And obviously, Gonzalo Higuain's aging up, and obviously, Icardi younger than Gonzalo Higuain, but they are two sensational players, that can score goals, as we all know. He's obviously Inter Milan's ninth highest top goal scorer of all time, is Icardi. As I said, I think he's scored like over 100 goals, since he's been in Milan. I think he's scored like 120 goals, in Serie A since he moved to Inter Milan. I think 131 in all his career, Icardi as well. But yeah, Chelsea have reportedly, showed an interest in him as well. So, Chelsea are linked, with quite a few players, as we all know. They want a striker, that were comparable to the likes of Didier Drogba and all that, because he was an absolutely, fantastic legend. Because as I did say with Chelsea, they had a great legend of Frank Lampard as well. He was a great player for them for years and years and years in that midfield. As I said, but they want someone who was like Didier Drogba and obviously Diego Costa. They want, somewhere in the lines of like that. Obviously, Diego Costa was quite good, but, he didn't have a lot of respect for Chelsea, to be quite honest with you. He didn't have any respect for the club. This is why he potentially probably, left Chelsea, Diego Costa, to be quite honest with you. But as I said, they are linked with quite a few players, as we all know. Sarri knows, he needs reinforcements in his squad, as we all currently know. But yeah, Gonzalo Higuain, number one target, as we all know, is Chelsea's. But as I did say, Chelsea are good at holding onto the ball. They can create chances, as they've proven this season. They've sacked quite a lot of managers, in a short period of time. With Chelsea, they got rid of Conte. They actually won the Premier League. He actually won the Premier League in his first season with Chelsea. Did Conte? They got rid of Mourinho in 2015. They've sacked quite a few managers, Scarala, Avram Grant, they've sacked a few other managers as well, but I can't remember them all from my knowledge. But they have sacked quite a few managers, in a short period of time of Chelsea, as we all currently know. But yeah, obviously, as I did update you earlier on, obviously about Callum Hudson as well. It potentially looks like Callum Hudson. Callum Hudson could be leaving Chelsea, as we all currently know in the process. We know that obviously he's got a year and a half left on his deal as Callum Hudson. As yet, there's been no sign of him signing a new deal. I think he's made about... still got a bit of a cold... I think he's made about 12 senior appearances for Chelsea, as Callum Hudson reportedly. As I did say, there's been no sign of him signing a new contract with Chelsea. Reportedly, Bayern Munich have been heavily interested in Callum Hudson reportedly, because I think the Bayern Munich director is keen on getting Callum Hudson in, as we all know. But as I did say with Callum Hudson, reportedly Bayern Munich have offered him the number 10 shirt, and obviously Bayern Munich want a young player. They want some young players in their team, as we all know, because they have got quite a few aging up players, as we all know. Arjen Robben looks like he's going to be leaving Bayern Munich in the summer as well, because he's aging up. He's been a good player throughout his playing career, but we know he's injury prone, as we all know. And they've got a few aging up players, so Bayern Munich are keen on getting him. Reportedly so far, 3 bids have been turned down by Chelsea for the player, but a 4th bid reportedly, according to the German press, has reportedly been accepted. I think it's a bid of around £35 million that has reportedly, been accepted, as I said, but reportedly there's no buyback clause included in this as well. And he's only 18 years of age, and a player at that young age, wants to grow and develop, and he wants first team football, and he hasn't had a lot of it in the Premier League this season for Chelsea, as we all know. And obviously now Chelsea have got Christian Pulisic on the board, as we all know. Potentially could fall down the pecking order even more, as we all know. And as I did say, regarding Eden Hazard, some people say, Eden Hazard is overrated. Some people think Eden Hazard is overrated. He's definitely essentially Chelsea's best player. I think he's, one of the best players in the Premier League, well, without a doubt, is Eden Hazard, as I said. But yeah, we know he's been linked to a move to Real Madrid as Eden Hazard. And as I did say, there's been no sign of him as yet signing a new contract with Chelsea, Eden Hazard. But he did admit before that he loved Real Madrid. He scored over 100 goals now for Chelsea. But recently in the Premier League, he's been playing in that false number 9 position as Eden Hazard, as we all know. And as I did confirm to today. Fabregas is obviously Chelsea will want a replacement for Cesc Fabregas as well. And as I did say, regarding Cesc Fabregas, he has agreed to make the move to Monaco because he's held negotiations with Monaco as Cesc Fabregas, as we all know, and he has flourished in English football. He's been playing in English football for like 12, 13 years now. He's made over 500 senior appearances. Obviously made his bid farewell appearance, in the FA Cup against Nottingham Forest, did Cesc Fabregas. I know he's been in Premier League, he's been in English football, he's been a good, for 12, 13 years, he's been a good servant. I know he had a 3-year spell in Spain with Barcelona as well, did Cesc Fabregas. But reportedly, he's agreed a 3-year deal to join Monaco in the summer, and he is going to be reuniting with Thierry Henry. But obviously, Chelsea have confirmed they are reluctant to let him leave at the moment until obviously they find a replacement. So Chelsea want a replacement, and then Fabregas probably then will be fully finalised. He will be going to Monaco, Cesc Fabregas, as we all currently know. So he is going to be reuniting, with Thierry Henry. As we all know, and that's mainly Chelsea's transfer rumours to update you with. So more things I've reported today on the Gonzalo Higuain situation, as we all know. So potentially, yeah, so we're going a bit onto my team now. As I did say, I'm going to be doing my Tottenham Manchester United preview tomorrow. It will be tomorrow morning or it'll be tomorrow afternoon sometime. And this is going to be a tester for us, Tottenham Manchester. It's going to be a real tester for us because we're looking very, very confident under Solskjaer. We've got 5 wins out of 5. Players playing really well. Solskjaer bringing the fear factor, back to the club, and we do want to be feared again. We want to be a club that's feared again because obviously we were feared under Alex Ferguson. Old Trafford obviously was a fortress under Alex Ferguson, as we all know, because you had all them great players. Ferguson used to boss the transfer markets, and it would just silverware after silverware, and we had 27 years of great success with Alex Ferguson, and we know. When Ferguson departed, as we all know, that's when the problems started stemming. The problems started then when Ferguson retired, and we've been playing catch-up for the last 5 or 6 years, as we all know, because, one mistake Ferguson made, recommended David Moyes into the job, because I knew we'd go downhill anywhere, potentially, because obviously Ferguson at one point was on the verge of stats because he didn't win out for 4 years with us, don't forget. And obviously the way how strict the board is now, if that had been now instead of all them years ago, Ferguson, may have gone before their 4 years, as we all currently know. But it was, as I did say though, he did made one mistake recommending David Moyes. I think he recommended him obviously because they were both Scottish. Moyes was an average manager. He never won any type of silverware, and he was never a proven winner. I thought he had a good 9-10 years with Everton. That was a mistake. Van Gaal didn't work either because I think Van Gaal killed our style of play, to be quite honest with you. He brought players in who are still here now. Players went, as we all currently know as well. When obviously he got Luke, he got Luke Shaw in. Luke Shaw's obviously mainly been playing at our, left back this season because obviously he's our first choice left back. But obviously he struggled, to get in the team in his first season, under Louis van Gaal, did Luke Shaw. We know he's known for injuries. He's actually an injury-prone player, he's Luke Shaw, because obviously when he was young in his prime, he suffered it with Southampton as well. He got Di Maria in. Obviously we knew Di Maria never wanted to be a Manchester United player, as we all know. I think he always wanted to be a Paris Saint-Germain player, did Angel Di Maria, and that's exactly, where he meant. But, he got like Depay in as well, did Louis van Gaal. To be fair to the Memphis Depay, now he's doing fantastically well with Lyon. He's doing very, very well in France with Lyon. He was good when he was a lot younger in his prime. When he began his career with PSV, he scored 50 goals in 124 appearances. I think he was a top scorer for them in the 2014-15 season. I think he was nominated, best young footballer in the world by France Football was Memphis Depay, but he struggled at Manchester United. He didn't really make an impact under Louis van Gaal at Manchester United, so he struggled at Manchester United as well, did Memphis Depay. But he absolutely, as I did say, he absolutely killed our style of play, did Louis van Gaal. So it didn't work out on Louis van Gaal. He didn't have a bad pedigree. He did well. He did well with Bayern Munich, and that did Louis van Gaal. So he had some kind of good pedigree, but he just didn't have the right philosophy at Manchester United. And then obviously Jose Mourinho came in. We thought, this is it now. Jose Mourinho, he's a proven winner. He's won titles everywhere he's been, as we all know. And he's going to get us back up there competing for major honours and silverware. And he didn't do it. Fair play, got us, the league. He got us the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season. That was about it, really. And he did, get a second spot as well, to be quite fair. Did Jose Mourinho, You know, was it last season he got us second spot as well? Got to the FA Cup final. But he never was a Manchester United manager, and he didn't. You know, people may have said we got Jose Mourinho too late. Some people may have said Jose Mourinho should have been recommended in after Alex Ferguson retired, and then it may have been a different story. You know, to be quite honest with you, it didn't work out for Mourinho either. Players weren't playing for him. You know, he wasn't getting on with the board. You know, he would having disputes with the players, especially, you know, Paul Pogba was Jose Mourinho, and obviously the board weren't backing some of his signings. You know, last summer, this is why we only got 3 signings last summer, as we all know. But we have been playing catch up now 5 years. But as I said, it's looking very, very good under Solskjaer now. 5 wins out of 5, and you know, this is a total different Manchester United. You know, because we're playing in a different way. We are totally playing him in a different way, and it just looks like, you know, a totally different team, because he has brought the fear factor back to Manchester United. 5 wins out of 5, 16 goals scored, as we all know, which is very, very good. But you know, Solskjaer's admitted he'd love the job on a full-time basis with Manchester United. You know, he has admitted this. He'd love the job on a full-time basis with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We know potentially Solskjaer's confirmed that it's unlikely that Manchester United are going to make any signs in this January window. He said he doesn't expect Manchester United to make any signs in this January window. But as I said, we spent over £400 million on 11 players. Obviously, this is what Jose Mourinho put on the team, as we all know. But reportedly, yeah, Solskjaer's confirmed he's going to be having discussions with Ed Woodward, you know, about this January window, about potentially about getting any signings in. And we do know that we do need signings in our squad. As I said, you know, potentially we need a strong central defender, because I think Phil Jones and Smalling won't be here next season, in my opinion. You know, we've got Victor Lindelof. To be fair, he's really, really improved this season. He's won Swedish Player of the Year, hasn't he? You know, Bayes, to be fair, is obviously still suspended, but he has got great potential as Bailly. Marcus Rojo's good there as a backup option, but we have been lacking in that defensive area as well. So we definitely need a strong central defender, as we all know. And we have been linked with a lot of them. We need a centre defensive midfielder that's fast and tenacious, because we've got Matic there. He's improved under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He really has. His distribution's improved. He looks effective in his passing, but he's still slow and he doesn't have a lot of pace to his game. So we need someone who's quick and fast and tenacious in our centre defensive midfield area. The right needs addressing as well, as I did say, because I think the left hand side, that's where all the attacks coming from. You know, from Luke Shaw and Martial and Paul Pogba and all that. But there's not much. There's in an attacking extent. You know, there's no attacking coming from the right hand side, as we all know, and that's why we need to address it, as we all currently know. But as I did say, the Tottenham game, is going to be a very, very interesting indeed. This is going to be a test for us. It's going to be a test for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Obviously against Reading, he made 9 changes in the game. He gave a lot of the youth a chance, and he did confirm Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Everybody's going to get the chance, including the youth, as he did say. And I think this team will flourish, and I think this team will grow. The youth, especially the youngsters, I think they'll grow and develop under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as well. But as I did say, he made 9 changes. He went with 11. That's obviously never played together. As we all know, that's probably why the rhythm wasn't as good, the movement wasn't as good and all that, because potentially it was a lackluster performance from our second 11, to be quite fair. But yeah, going into this Tottenham game, it's going to be a very, very difficult game, as we all know. But I think Solskjaer should get the job at Manchester United. As I did say, he knows about the club, he knows the trappings of the club, he knows the culture of the club, because obviously he was a great, great player for 11 years, as we all know. Scored in the 1999 final, did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And I think he should get the job on a full-time basis. And he's admitted he'd love the job on a full-time basis, would Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as I said. Potentially, obviously, Ed Woodward's #1 target is to get Pochettino in at the end of the season, as we all know, because potentially that's his #1, to get Pochettino in on a full-time basis at the end of the season. But like I said, I don't think Pochettino's interested in coming. I think he's happy at Tottenham. He's fully committed to Tottenham. He's got a new stadium coming soon as Pochettino. He's only spent £50 million at Tottenham since 2014 as Pochettino, as we all know. And potentially it would cost us in the region of around £40 million, to recommend him in at the end of the season, when we could save that money, recoup that money, and get a signing with that money, as I said. But he hasn't won out in terms of silverware, Pochettino. As I said, he is good at growing and developing young players. Reportedly, he has been in talks with Manchester United. Reportedly, Ed Woodward was in transfer talks with him as well. And reportedly, he's been coming out in the press. I think he's now managed 250 is it 250, 251 games now for Tottenham Hotspur, and he's been coming out in the press saying Tottenham have to operate differently to win titles. He said he's obviously suggested that he wants to manage Tottenham for 20 years as well as Mauricio Pochettino. So he has, said about this as well as Mauricio Pochettino, but he has got the winning mentality. He does understand the philosophy, and he is a very, very good manager. And he's looking to win his first major honour as manager. With Tottenham, just like Sarri is. He's looking to win his first major honour with Chelsea because he's never won any major trophies as Sarri as well. But we know Pochettino is our number one target to come in at the end of the season. Obviously, if Solskjaer doesn't get the job on a full-time basis, Pochettino is obviously the favourite, and he's obviously got a 5-year deal with Tottenham as Mauricio Pochettino. But yeah, it's going to be a difficult game for us. We haven't won at White Hart Lane in the last 3 visits in the Premier League. So recently we've had a really, really bad record against Tottenham at White Hart Lane. As I did say, we actually lost to Tottenham early on this season by 3-0 at Old Trafford. I actually watched that game. Was that on the second or was it the third game of the season? Something like that. We lost to them at home 3-0. As I said. But yeah, there's a few interesting stuff, coming out of Sky Sports, a few stats to tell you about. Reportedly, it did say Tottenham have not done the double. Tottenham have not done the league double over us for 29 years. So potentially that's nearly 3 decades. So if Tottenham were to beat us, that would be the first time they'd done the league double over us for nearly 30 years. And what a remarkable achievement that would be, from a Tottenham perspective. Not for me because I'm a United fan, but from a Tottenham's perspective, that would be a remarkable achievement for them. But it did mention under Alex Ferguson, it did mention we had a really, really good record at White Hart Lane because it said we only lost 3 of our 21 Premier League visits, to White Hart. We only lost 3 of our 21 Premier League visits to White Hart Lane under the Alex Ferguson reportedly. So we were very, very good at Tottenham, when we add to Alex Ferguson, of course, as it did say. Potentially Tottenham is sitting 3rd. I think they've scored 46 goals this season in the Premier League as well. They've scored 46 goals in the Premier League of Tottenham this season. I think in the last 18 meetings between the sides, Man United we've had 8 wins. Tottenham have had 6 wins, and I think there's been potentially 4 draws. As I said. But yeah, it'll be a very, very good game. As I said, Tottenham have got a lot of good players in our squad. But we've got good players as well that can cause Tottenham problems. Obviously, we'll be making numerous changes, from the Reading game, Will Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Obviously, I think I've been reading a bit of team news up, and we'll be doing the Tottenham Man United preview tomorrow, as I said. But I've been reading a bit of team news up. Ashley Young could be coming back in at right back. Obviously because Valencia hasn't featured much this season. I think, to be quite fair, Valencia is on his way out, but Valencia and Ashley Young are obviously, both 33 years of age, as we all know, and obviously there's been no sign of Ashley Young, currently signing an extension, as we all know, but potentially he's been, obviously Ashley Young's been our first choice right back, as we all know. Obviously Ashley Young and Valencia have both made now 300 odd appearances, is it? Well, they've both made over 300 appearances, as I currently said in the process. Obviously at centre back it will probably be Phil Jones and Lindelof at centre back position because obviously Smalling's still injured, Rojo's still out, and obviously Eric Bailly's currently suspended still. I think he's got 2. Has he still got 2 matches left on his suspension, or is it 1 more match? I can't remember. I think it's 1 more match. Actually, he's got on his suspension because obviously he got sent off against Bournemouth. Did Eric Bailly. Also confirmed maybe Sanchez could be starting in this game, to be quite fair. It's said in the press Martial may not start, so Sanchez could come in for Anthony Martial, as we all know. I think Sanchez needs to adapt areas of his game, as we all know, because he has been weak as Alexis Sanchez, because he's just come back from an hamstring injury. He's on £500,000 a week here, and he hasn't, he's lacked development, since he's come to Old Trafford, as we all know. It's going to be interesting to see, who he starts up front and that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as we all know. I said Lukaku and Sanchez are fringe players, but he may even start Lukaku, considering, his recent form. He scored 3 goals in his last 3 games for us, as we all know, 2 of them from substitutes. Scored against Reading as well. So obviously, he may want to give Lukaku and Sanchez more game time, to improve, as we all know. But we've got players like Martial, Rashford and Lingard, young players that are growing and developing and playing very, very well. And they're taking their roles. Martial, Rashford and Lingard are taking, Lukaku and Sanchez roles and shirts, as we all know, because I did say to you, Rashford's mainly number 9. I did say Rashford's mainly number 9. I said Pogba expresses himself better in a number 10 position. Paul Pogba, of course, has been injured as well. He was injured for the Reading game, wasn't he? Last weekend, but I think he should be in contention for this Tottenham game. He's going to be very, very vital for us because he's been very, very impressive under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as Paul Pogba. But it'd be interesting to see, who Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, goes with. He will be making numerous changes, as we all know. Fred, I think Fred potentially needs a bit more game time to his belt, to get playing, to his potential level, as I said. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see who he lines up with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. As he currently said, but we know we have been linked with a lot of players. That would be a very, very good game on Sunday. But we have been, we've got another tester in the FA Cup against Arsenal as well in the 4th round. That's going to be a difficult game, as we all know. But as I did say to you, we are linked with a lot of players. A lot of United fans would like Koulibaly to come in. A lot of United fans would like him to come in. We know reports are coming from Italy yesterday that Man United put around a £54 million bidding for Milan Skriniar. Manchester United have been interested in him as well. I think he's got a 3-year deal on his current contract with Inter Milan as Milan Skriniar, but we know we've been linked with him as well. And he's only 23 years of age, so he is potentially, 4 years younger than Koulibaly, is Milan Skriniar, as we all know. So I know he's nowhere near on the same levels as the likes of Koulibaly, but Koulibaly would be the top of my radar out of all the, players and especially the defenders, we are linked with. But, Milan Skriniar, if he was 27, he could be potentially, as good as Koulibaly, but he's 23, he's still got a lot of years ahead of him, this Milan Skriniar. He is Slovakian, as I said. Inter Milan paid, £20 million for the player. I think he's made 60-odd appearances since, 2017. He's been at Inter Milan, is it a year and a half or something like that now, Milan Skriniar, but we know, we've been linked with him as well. But, obviously, Koulibaly will cost us, obviously, in the excess of around £100 million to get him. A deal won't be done in this January window anywhere, to be quite fair, because the Napoli president's confirmed they're not willing to do any business. The reports are coming out of the media now saying, actually, that Real Madrid have reportedly been interested in him as well, Koulibaly. But as I said, in the process, Man United have held negotiations. Manchester United have obviously had three previous bids turned down for him. The recent one, obviously, was £95 million, as we all know. But one of the best defenders, one of the best players in the world in his current position. Obviously, we have the financial valuation, to currently meet, we have the financial power to meet his valuation, and they value him at around £100 million. He's under contract until 2023, as we all know. And obviously, he would be potentially, the most expensive defender in the world with Koulibaly, if we were to potentially, get him. But he'd be great in our back line. He'd complement Lindelof and he'd complement Eric Bailly, as we all currently know. And potentially, another defender we've been linked with, and that's been potentially, Costas Manolas, the Roma central defender. As I said, he's nowhere near on the same levels as the likes of, the Gordons and the Koulibalys and the Ramoses and, the top central defenders out there. He's nowhere near on the same levels as them. He is, 27 years of age? I think he's 27, so he's potentially, the same age of Koulibaly. He's nowhere near the same calibre or level, as a Koulibaly. I don't really know much about him, to be quite honest with you. I know Raiola represents him. Reports have been coming out saying Man United are close to getting a deal over the line for this player. Man United are reportedly close to getting a deal over the line for this player. And reportedly, he has a 32 million release clause or something like that. Man United are looking to activate it, but reportedly it can't be activated until the summer, reportedly, for this Costas Manolas release clause, as we all know. So there has been a lot of talks about that, going on in the press. It said Man United were reportedly working on the deal with Raiola, reportedly. And we know also, other defenders have been mentioned in the media. Harry Maguire's been mentioned. Eddie Militao has also been mentioned. So Alderweireld has also been mentioned as well. So we are linked, with quite a lot of players. So I expect us to maybe make at least one signing in this January window because we desperately, need a central defender, as we all know, as I said. But for that, I do apologise. My current battery died. So yeah, as I was saying, so potentially they are the players we are currently linked with. As I said, the main part of this video is regarding Denis Suarez. As we update you on all the other news as well, but the main part of this video is discussing, Denis Suarez agreeing terms with Arsenal and discussing some other transfer rumours with you, as I currently said in the process. But Arsenal have negotiations with his representative. just want to get him on loan because Arsenal, Umeme confirmed they can only afford loan deals in this window. So he potentially dispelled the myth and he said he's ruled out Arsenal making any permanent signings in this January transfer window, of course. So yeah, when more things update, we will be updating you. There may be one more live video coming up soon. If not, I will be back tomorrow with some about 2 or 3 more live videos tomorrow. We will be doing the Tottenham Manchester United video tomorrow, so join me there if you want. So when drop your comments, likes below on my channel if you do consider subscribing. Always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.